the fresh basil that I actually grew, the fresh fettuccine. The cheesiness.
So this is what I saw at the grocery store. This is the pre-made stuff. And you can see it's got some of the main ingredients, but it's got part skim milk in there. Why is milk in there? It makes no sense. They got canola oil, whey protein, a little bit of Romano cheese in there. It just doesn't look good with walnuts in there. What are walnuts doing in there? That's crazy.
Okay, so as you can see, I'm actually growing my own basil, and it comes out pretty darn nice here. Take a close look at that. Nice, good looking leaves. And you know, as expensive as these herbs are in the store, I just decided to do this. And I'll put a link down in the description in case you want to do something like this and grow your own fresh basil. I've also got some tomato plants going on there. I've got some dill, I got some thyme, and behind all of that, down here, I don't know if you can see it or not, I've got some parsley growing too. Okay, let's talk about the ingredients here. I've got some extra virgin olive oil. I've got some pine nuts. I've got a massive amount of basil, which just came out of that arrow garden I showed you. I've got some fresh pasta, some fettuccine, and then I've got some garlic on the end. It doesn't take too much to make this dish. And of course, I got some fresh grated pecorino romano, good stuff. Okay, let's talk cheese. To make this dish correctly, you're going to need the right kind of cheese. Now, if you go into any grocery store and you buy some pecorino romano, it's going to cost you anywhere from $16 to $28 a pound. But look here, at Costco, I found the Kirkland brand right here. Now, this Kirkland brand right here sells for $8.98 a pound, only $8.98 a pound. So what I do is I buy this big chunk here. This one here cost me $14.53, and I cut it into cubes. I vacuum seal it, and this is good for, it says on here, 6 months. So I'm going to probably use this up in 6 months, and it'll save you a ton of money. Okay, let's go ahead and portion this up. Now, I washed the outside of this. I think that's super important. Okay, you got to think about where this wrapper goes through. So wash the outside of that, dry it off, and I just start off by cutting off one corner like this. Okay, so we got the cheese all grated up the way we want. No matter what you do, there's going to be cheese around this cutting board. Just deal with it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and prep our basil. We don't want any of the stem in there, so you can just tear it up a little bit, throw it in. You don't want to use any of the stems. If the leaves are small, don't worry about it. You can just throw them in there. Now we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to actually put this in some boiling water just for a second. And the purpose of this is to make it turn bright and green, and when we make our pesto, it won't be so brown. We're going to do the same thing with the garlic, which will take some of the bitterness out of it. Okay, so I've got my basil, a couple cloves of garlic in there. I'm just going to dump it right into the water. And we just want to have it in there just for a few seconds till it turns bright green. And you'll notice the temperature drop for a second there. All we want to do is blanch it. That's it. And then get it in cold water as quick as you possibly can, which I think that's long enough already. Now, another good thing to do to give your sauce a lot of flavor is to toast the pine nuts in a pan just to where you see a little bit of brown coming on them. You don't want to go too far on this because if you do, you will burn them. But just toasting them a little bit. Don't stick your hand in the pan like I just did either, but you know, that's what I do. Then we're going to go ahead and put those toasted pine nuts in here. You just want to give it a few pulses, get it chopped up. If you see it sticking to the sides, open it and wipe it down. Now I'm going to start drizzling the olive oil a little at a time as I pulse it, just a little bit. Check and see where you're at. Okay, now that's looking like the consistency we want. Now understand, it's going to be a little bit wetter in here because we haven't added the cheese to it. Too many people add the cheese in the blender, and all it does is melt it because the blades are too hot. So you don't want to add it in there. So we're just going to put a little bit more olive oil in here. And it's going to be a little bit liquidy, but when we add the cheese, it'll thicken up perfectly. We'll add the cheese to it, and then we're going to get that final texture. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit on top here, but I want to stir it around. Okay, I want to stir it around and get that pesto heated up all through there because this pasta is nice and hot. Oh, it sounds good, doesn't it? Can pesto sound good, Jessica? I think it can. Just a touch more, okay? Just a touch more. Okay, let's give it a shot now. This is Sunday. I haven't shaven. Probably shouldn't be on camera. Let me know if you guys care about that stuff. Just put that in the comments below. Wait, I want more sauce. It's only fair that I get more sauce. I made this stuff. That's a lot of sauce. We're gonna get a bite out of this in just a second, I promise. I think we got it. I think this is the bite. The cheesiness, the fresh basil that I actually grew, the fresh fettuccine, the garlic breath that I'm going to have later. Thank God my wife's eating garlic too. We wouldn't be able to stand each other. But man, oh man, one more bite. What's it going to hurt? So good. Got to try this.